This is a quick video just to give you kind of a few tips and tricks when you're doing contests in BPA in which you have to keyboard Word documents. Contests such as keyboarding, word processing, advanced word processing, basic office, advanced office, integrated office, medical and legal concepts. One thing you want to make sure you're doing is you're using your style and reference manual. Your style and reference manual has a lot of information in. You want to use all that formatting. And on the front of the reference manual, you want to make sure you read all those things, because one thing that it does say is unless the directions say otherwise, you should always use Times New Roman 12-point font. Now right up here you can see what the font is on this document, and the default in Word is actually not Times New Roman. So it's very important that you would change to Times New Roman 12-point whenever you are doing anything for BPA contests, unless the directions tell you otherwise. So always using Times New Roman 12-point. The next thing that's going to be really helpful to you is that one of the things also that Word does is it doesn't have single spacing as the default. So you want to always check to make sure by going to paragraph, and if you hit the arrow down here where paragraph, and make sure the spacing before and after are 0 and line spacing is at single. Many times I see students lose just that one thing will cause them to get a 0 because the spacing is wrong throughout the whole document, and every instance of incorrect spacing is counted as an error. So before you even start your document, make sure you go to paragraph and your spacing before and after needs to be 0, set it single. Another thing that's really helpful is taking a look at using your ruler bar. Now if you don't have your ruler bar up, you want to make sure you go to View and get your ruler bar on by selecting this box here. By having that on, you can see where tabs are set, and you can set tabs, and you can do hanging indent. So you see here where there's hanging indent. How that's done is simply by taking the bottom part here on the ruler bar, the bottom part of the hourglass, and moving it in where you want it to hanging indent. Now watch what happens when I move it. See how it moves the rest of that? So you can set your hanging indent up where you want it to be, as well as you can easily set tabs by going and just selecting right here on the ruler bar. So if I wanted to set a tab at 1/2 inch, I set it just like that. Now if I wanted to get rid of that tab, I take it and pull it out, and then it's gone. There's a tab set right here at this moment because of what I have down here in your code of conduct. Some other things that will help you, other than knowing the hanging and the tab, you can also go to paragraph and set your indentation there as well, and hanging, first line or hanging. I just find that it's easier to do it using the ruler bar. Make sure in the style and reference manual where it tells you to bold or all caps that you do that. Check your spacing. A common thing you have to do in all your documents is a footer, usually a footer with your contestant number and your job number on. So you can get into your footer simply by coming down the bottom here like I did and double clicking, and then you can type in your contestant number. Whenever they tell you to use your name or typist initials, you will always use your contestant number. Never use your name or your initials. That counts as an error. To do 2 lines down here, for instance, you could do your contestant number, enter job 1. So that's typically what your footer or header, depending upon what the directions tell you to do, is going to look like for every document that you do. Another quick thing that will be helpful to you in a lot of these contests is going to be mailing labels. I see so many students lose points on mailing labels. So in your contest, if you have to do mailing labels, you want to go to Mailing, Labels. Typically, you're going to use an Avery 5160. So I'm going to go down here and go to Options, and here, see, mine's already selected. It's Avery 5160. Okay, now what I want to do next, this is where you want to do, if you're going to have a label with something different on every label, you want to go new document. When you do that, you can then type in your addresses in each individual one for just however many you need to do. And when you're done with that, you can go to the bottom into the footer. And in the footer, if you can't get it by double clicking on, what you do is you're going to go to Insert and Footer and pick blank, and now I get my footer, and I can come down here and type in my contestant number and my job number, because they even on those documents tell you you have to do that. And so this is a way to make sure that you get that. Now you can see in here on that footer, I'm going to have that and then have the labels that I need. Best advice I can give you is over break, spend some time practicing some of these documents, and bring them to school on Monday when you come back, along with the test itself, so I can look at the directions, and give me just a little bit of time to look them over before you have to do your test on the 8th.